what's up guys? Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Today we're going to be continuing our series where we discuss places to travel for watches. Today we are going to be discussing Glashütte. This is the second episode of the series. The first episode we discussed how Geneva is probably one of the best places to travel when it comes to watches. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out in our channel. It's probably in the suggested videos as well, being that it's the first episode of this series. So be sure to check that out. Today we're going to be discussing Glashütte. Glashütte is obviously another place where a lot of watchmaking comes out of. So I'm excited to get into this topic. And before we get into that, if you haven't already, and I say it every single video, be sure to smash that like button. It really does help us out. Let's see if we can get to 20 likes. It really would help grow our channel, which is always appreciated. So Glashütte is, if you aren't familiar with where Glashütte is actually a small town in the eastern part of Germany, in a city very close to a city called Dresden, and also it's very close to Poland. If you are familiar with World War II and kind of know your stuff when it comes to that, you probably already thinking about the fact that it was actually on the eastern side of the Berlin Wall during World War II or post-World War II. So that definitely has an influence in a lot of the history of these watch companies that are based out of this area. But Glashütte really is known as being the birthplace of German watchmaking and the German watchmaking industry. The city has a population of approximately 7,000 individuals. So it's a very small city, but I think it is very characteristic of what a Germanic city really is. It's very, very much like any small city that you find in Germany, in Austria, in Switzerland. It's very small, almost feels like a sleeper city, but a lot comes out of the city, obviously. There's a lot of exporting of watches, as you probably can imagine. And I bet the majority of the individuals who live there are probably involved in the watchmaking industry in some way. But it is actually a very beautiful city. There's a lot of nature that you can really enjoy, a lot of Germanic traditions in the cities and towns. There's a lot of, I think there's a quite famous cathedral there. But kind of just going into the history of the city, as I said previously, it was on the eastern side of the Berlin Wall post-World War II. And I think that had a major influence on a lot of the watchmaking that took place here. One of the biggest things that I think you can do in Geneva, or in Glashütte, excuse me, is visiting manufacturers, and that is going to go into a lot of the famous manufacturers that I'm going to discuss today. So kind of getting into what is located in Glashütte. As I said previously, there are a lot of manufacturers, German manufacturers, that are located in this area, and there are a lot of common threads between them. The design of the watches they produce are very simple, very utilitarian, and very efficient dial layouts, and almost, which is a very German characteristic, being very efficient, being very utilitarian. And I think the word to describe this type of design is Bauhaus. It's marrying, what these manufacturers do is marry the very Bauhaus efficient dials and watchmaking with a very high quality of watchmaking, which is very important when it comes to the watches that come out of this area. It doesn't matter if you're going to be spending $500 or $1,000 or you're going to be spending, $200,000. The movements, the watch cases, everything about the watches are extremely high quality. So I think the biggest thing you can do in Glashütte is visit manufacturers. I'm going to mention 3 manufacturers that are probably the most well known, and I think you should probably put at the top of your list when it comes to visiting manufacturers. The first one is Lange and Söhne. Lange and Söhne is obviously on the eastern side, is in Glashütte, which was on the eastern side of the Berlin Wall. They actually ended up closing their doors during World War II, just simply because of the effects that World War II had on Germany. But they came back to life when the Berlin Wall fell, and they're very well known for their Lange 1, which is one of my favorite watches, actually, ever. Again, extremely Bauhaus design, extremely high quality, and that's one of the things that's consistent with Lange and Söhne. It doesn't matter if you're buying a Lange 1 or you're buying a Tourbillon, a 200,000 Swiss franc or euro watch, you're still going to get extremely high quality with every single piece that you get. So Lange and Söhne should definitely be on your list. They also have a really rich history with World War II, so that's going to be an interesting thing to explore at Lange and Söhne. The second manufacturer that you should visit is Glashütte Original. Glashütte Original was founded in 1994. It's actually owned by the Swatch Group, but they have 10 in-house calibers that they use within their watches. And again, extremely similar design to Lange and Söhne, high quality Bauhaus design. However, I think they're a little bit more affordable than Lange and Söhne. But again, locating Glashütte probably pulls on a lot of the similar aesthetics that Lange and Söhne is known for, but perhaps at a little cheaper price point. Again, it would be very interesting to see how they create their watches. And again, I think what would be interesting is to compare how these manufacturers go about watchmaking, comparing Glashütte to Lange and Söhne, and to our third company, which is actually Nomos. So Nomos was actually founded in 1990, which was 2 months after the Berlin Wall actually fell. So it probably has a very close tie to that event. Again, Bauhaus design, extremely high quality, and actually the most affordable out of the three that I have mentioned previously. I think the fact that they were incorporated 2 months after the Berlin Wall fell is a testament to how opening up commerce across that line probably had a positive impact on Germany as a whole. So probably has another close tie to World War II. And again, like I said, it's going to be interesting to compare the way in which watchmaking is conducted between these three companies. So those are probably the biggest watch companies that you need to put on your list if you are going to end up visiting Glashütte. There are a lot of smaller watch manufacturers that are located in Glashütte, which I think would be a good thing for you to add to your list to visit when you go to Glashütte. But visiting factories is going to be the main part of why you would go to Glashütte to travel and explore watches. Like I said, I think seeing some of the smaller manufacturers could be interesting. A lot of times it's what they want to create. It's them doing every single step of the way. So would probably be a very special thing for you to see if you end up going to Glashütte, being that it's such a small city, but a lot comes out of it. I think you'll also be able to see a lot of what World War II, the effects of World War II on this city, and how it kind of incorporates into these watch companies. Lange & Söhne obviously has I want to say a history with World War II, but really there's no history when it comes to World War II with them. But World War II really affected these watch manufacturers, and they probably have some very interesting stories about their histories. But also, I think being able to experience a Germanic city that's relatively small, enjoying the nature around you, as well as the history that the city may have, is a great thing for you to do. It's near Dresden, which obviously has a lot of history as well. So that's kind of why I think Glashütte is a great place for you to travel when it comes to watches. Let me know in the comments what you think about what I've discussed about being able to visit manufacturers in Glashütte. Also, if you have some cities that you think I should discuss when it comes to traveling for watches, be sure to put those in the comment section below. I'm going to try and hit every single one that you guys recommend, so that you kind of know my perspective on what I would be putting on my list when it comes to traveling and being able to see watches in each of these cities. And if you've made it this far and you haven't already, be sure to smash that like button. It really does help us out. Also, if you're new to Life on the Wrist, we create videos about watches, just about any topic that you can think of. That's what we do. So be sure to browse our channel and hit the subscribe button so we can continue to grow our channel. If you didn't see our video from Monday, we discussed another legendary watchmaker from the past. It's a watchmaker very close to my heart, being that I love the brand. So be sure to check out our video from Monday if you haven't done that. Also, I'm excited about our shop. We're going to be getting some really interesting pieces in. If you don't know, we actually run a vintage watch store, but we also have some modern pieces that we sell there. We're going to be listing some really interesting pieces coming up, so be sure to check out our store. The link is in the description to see our website, so be sure to go there. If you have any video ideas that you think that we should cover, be sure to put those in the comment section below. I'm having a lot of fun with these series. I think this traveling for watches is a nice thing to do, especially because there are so many places you can go to explore. So I'm looking forward to the episode 3 of places to travel for watches. And with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.